Chapter 3. Homesick. As Cush was heading down the path to visit his grandmother the following morning, an older gentleman approached. Cush of the Tablita clan, son of Darbesi. Cush looked at the man. Yes, that is me. How can I help you? The man smiled. My name is Dent, and I was ordered to find you. I searched for you at your home, but you never instructed me where to find you. Curiosity set in. Cush gives the man a strange look. Yes. Dante saw his facial expression and said, I knew your grandfather, Samuel. As a matter of fact, it trained me. I've been given orders to find you and to instruct you. You are long overdue for military service. Your grandfather delayed your entry at 16, and it is time to serve your clan in the military. All citizens are to serve a minimum of 2 years. Handing him a paper, he continued, you have 30 days to comply, but now if you're anything like your grandfather, it will not be any problems. He was a great man and a fantastic warrior, and he was honored to serve under him. The basic training will be at Fort Bliss Military Installation in El Paso, Texas. All you need to know is on this paper. Cush took the papers and said, no problem, I'll be there. Cush was disappointed that he had not served in the military earlier because he feared Big Ma wouldn't be cared for and no one would visit her. Approaching their home in depth out, saw her gardening in the yard. Is he old and don't caught up with you? Big Ma said. Cush said in a low disappointing voice, yeah, I forgot all about this. If Daddy had let me go when it was time to go, I wouldn't have to leave you here all alone. Big Ma stood up. Now you should know that everything happens for a reason, and you ain't getting no younger, your damn self. Time to do your service time, find you a wife, and have some of my great-grandchildren. Cush looked up. A wife. Big Ma said, yeah, boy, a wife. I've done lived my life, and now it's time for you to live yours. You need a family of your own. Cush looked at Big Ma. He never even thought about having a family. I haven't seen one who qualifies as being my wife. Big Ma said, cause you ain't looking, women are looking at you, but you're not looking at or even looking for them. Children and marriage is a beautiful thing, child. It's a contract of love, the oldest contract since time began, sealed by vows and pledges of love. When you marry someone, you marry all of that person. That means all that they are and all that comes with them. While you might not agree with everything they are, although you commit to the whole person. You commit to the entire individual, not just the parts you love about them. Their flaws, along with their fabulousness. Their defeats, along with their victories. To their failures, not just their successes. To their mistakes and not just their achievements. Their falling and not only their rising. You're bending to their past and future, not only to their present but also to the unknown and unexpected, not just the certainty and assurance. In other words, for better or worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness and health. You must understand why most vows warn that this most sacred of unions is not to be entered into unadvisedly, irreverently or indiscreetly, but clearly understand that you are not marrying part of a person, you are marrying the whole. And love is the tie that binds. Cush turned toward Big Ma hookily. You sounded like a greeting card, but I like that. Big Ma laughed. Oh, you like that? Chill, breakfast has been ready for at least 30 minutes. If you don't get your towel in that house. We got 30 days to finish my story. It won't take that long, but I need to finish it cause you got me started, and I got you in it. After breakfast, Cush still had a look that disturbed Big Ma. A penny for your thought, young man. Cush smiled. This military thing. Big Ma interrupted him. Wanyenyekevu started that after the people who left during the Exodus began returning home and ordered everyone to serve at least 2 years of service starting at age 15. Before the last group from Telul made it to Arizona had returned, Darkiaglo received word that his brother at Fayenne, and his wife, and kids, and Wanyenyekevu and his family took the trip as well. They wanted everyone, including those non-believers who lived outside the city. They wanted everyone to learn to fight when it was time. To do so and made it mandatory that everyone served 2 years. Many non-believers with evil arts would terrorize the non-believers with good spirits, and our people protected them from abenians and some of Doce no Buddhas and Akatas. Don't get me wrong, we respected the non-believers. We bartered wisdom, ate wisdom, and even enjoyed one another's company, overcame, many became believers. All this visiting of relatives got to Wanyenyekevu. He felt homesick and longed to see his parents, listening to the stories of the twins and Badumela's visit, and the food and feast during their visit to Telu. Even Darkiago, telling the story of his visit, felt a certain way that bothered him but kept it to himself. After 2 days of securing their posts, they all went to Ireland. On the day they departed, the children of Ibrahim approached Wanyenyekevu. We would like to investigate the abandoned cities of El Paso and Phoenix and see what was left behind, said Elige, for we understand the technology, and they might have left something that might be useful. Wanyenyekevu agreed and instructed them to take their battalions and leave Nella in charge. Friedrich, Darkiago, and his family, along with Wanyenyekevu and his family, headed off to Ireland. Flying just below the Mason-Dixon line, they headed to Ireland, keeping a watchful eye for the enemy, but the land was clear with just a few Anakatas in sight on the ground. Once they reached North Carolina, they rested for the night before finishing their journey. Once in Ireland, the people were in autos Ibacatilians dressed in traditional clothing and walking with pride as they asked for the location of Saka's home. An elderly man gave them directions, and as they approached the house, a teenager greeted them, "Hi, I am Bamidel. Which of you is quiet, Darkiago?" Darkiago smiled, "That would be me," and Mai asked, "Who are you?" Bamidel smiled, "I am your great niece. My friends call me Lil Bit." Darkiago shook her hand as she led them into the house. "Ika is here, brother." Which translated to, "I am here, brother," shouted Darkiago as his voice cracked for the many years that they had not seen each other. Many years ago, their argument separated them, not knowing it was about will, and probably the only way they would have separated would have been the only way his will would have been fulfilled. Shake stood up from his bed, recognizing his brother's voice. After all these years, he begged his brother for a hug as they cried out to each other. Wanyenyekevu excused himself, but Darkiago, wiping the tears, "No, no, they must see what Sabas has done for us all." Darkiago smiled at Shake as called out, "Anaya." Shake said, "Anaya." Darkiago said, "Yes, this is Anaya, your husband, and children minus one who is on a journey for Sabas as we speak." Shake said, "Koningin Anaya, come neither." Translated, "Queen Anaya, come closer." With tears in her eyes, Anaya said to Shake, "Opa, Ika is blij om te ontmoet na al die jaar." Translated, "Grandfather, I am glad to meet you after all these years." Wanyenyekevu smiled, "English, please." Shake and Anaya smiled. Okay, Anaya introduced the family. Shake looked at Friedrich. "Can you turn that light off?" Friedrich laughed. "I'm afraid not, I'm stuck with it. I'm just glad you can see it." Shake raised his voice, "Lil Bit. Where is your grandmother?" Lil Bit walked in. "She went to the market." "Do you want me to get her?" Shake said, "No, take some of your cousins here and tell everyone. Kinfolks are here, and a feast is in order. If you pass her, let her know. Come, let me introduce you to your cousin from the States. This is Anaya and your family." Bamidel smiled and asked, "Are you here to find Ethan as well?" Shake politely interrupted, "No, chill, we have other business to tend to. Your cousin will return if Sabas deems it. He will tell them about Ethan. Now." "Gan, now." An elderly lady walked into the room and wrapped everything in her arms. "Anaya? Anaya!" The lady shouted as Frederick helped her to a chair, and the lady started crying. "You look just like your mother," said Lizzie, Saka's wife and Anaya's grandmother. Wanyenyekevu couldn't take it and walked out of the room in front of the house as he thought about his family. After a short time, he saw some people gathering, bringing food and drinks. Some went inside, and laughter rang throughout the house. As the sun set, Darkiago, Shake, Friedrich, and Wanyenyekevu sat around and talked about how the abenians left so quickly, leaving so much pain. Shake listened to their story and was amazed at what Sabas had done through his granddaughter. They, with the help of the Anakatas, fooled many of our people, and they gave up their lands to go to New York. Betty had a strange feeling our people were going through hell. He didn't trust a word that came out of their mouths. Many of us starved to death, but he kept the fight. Wanyenyekevu looked at Friedrich, probably, what Abooksigun was scheduled to do, but only Sabas knows. Friedrich nodded in agreement as music played and people started dancing. Come, let's dance. A woman approached Friedrich, and they all enjoyed themselves until morning. Grandma Lizzie, what can you tell me about my father? Lizzie smiled at Anaya. Old King Joseph is still around, but no one goes to see him, for all his evil has caught up to him. They tell me he lives about 50 miles east of here and is just as fragile as your grandfather. Anaya said, he will go see him. For there are many questions he must ask him. Lizzie was concerned. Take your husband, child. Anaya shook her head. He will take my entire family, for we are all warriors and are gifted. Before we leave, we will have a holy hymn so that Sabas may bless us all. Anaya carried her family the following day, and they journeyed to see the old king of Ireland. They came to a small wooden shack with farm animals scattered around the home, following the directions of Lizzie and Chick. They landed their skycraft near the front door. A fragile old man came out of the house. You are trespassing on private property. Before he could say another word, he dropped his weapon and started crying. Are you come to hunt me too, my dear Queen Anaya? Dropping to his knees, I'm so sorry for what he did to you. He was a man without morals and a king without honor. You will be the last person he see before death. Anaya's heart was heavy. I am not my mother, I am your daughter. Anaya is my name as well, and these are your grandchildren. King Joseph looked up. My daughter died many years ago, Anaya. Walk to the old king and open him up. This was told to you so you would not look for me. Taking off the necklace from around her neck, she sewed in the silver penny. Look, here is my proof. My grandfather Sheikh was instructed to take this, and he gave them to your grandchildren. They hang upon our neck in honor of my people, especially my mother. King Joseph looked at Anaya. Why would you come and see me, and he had something to do with your mother's death? He didn't care about her death or the baby. He didn't care about you. He was heartless, and you've been paying for it ever since. Queen looked at Wanyenyekevu. Speaks the truth. Es sincere. King Joseph said to Anaya, come, I have something to give you. Walking in a hurry, he started thrashing the house and shouted, here it is. Here, this is for you. I have held on to it all these years. I want you to have it. It's a picture of your mother. She was the only woman who made me change my ways. Anaya looked at the picture and thought she was looking at herself. She was beautiful, Anaya said as she passed the image to the rest of her family. Come, it's time for redemption. King Joseph shook his head. No, first, I must give you something else. Walking toward the box that held the picture, he pulled out a ring. This is your mother's, you must take it. The king placed the ring on the finger. Please do this for me, for you are the Queen of Ireland. I must do this if it's the only thing I ever did right in my life, and I will document it also. You are the true Queen of Ireland. Anaya agreed to take the ring, but now you must come with us. For we will fast and ask for forgiveness tomorrow. King Joseph looked confused and said, all you have to do is ask for it. Anaya and her children, yes, just ask for it. Wanyenyekevu smiled, asked Sabas, for a man might not forgive, very well, as long as your heart is true. With tears in his eyes, King Joseph said, you can get your people back and proclaim yourself as queen and tell them they must return your people because of the trickery they have done. I will give you all the letters you need to do so. I'm still a king without a kingdom. My last duty will be righteous before Erige. King Joseph ran into the small sack, grabbed a few things, and headed back with Anaya and her family. The people looked in amazement and confusion as they saw the once tyrant in their village. Wanyenyekevu noticed the stairs and felt the art of some of the people. A crowd followed them to the entrance as Darkebu and Sheikh came to the window to see what the commotion was. King Joseph entered the home, but Wanyenyekevu asked everyone to go back outside. Wanyenyekevu spoke to the crowd. A man can live his life being a righteous man, and then because of an incident, he carries evil in his heart and dies a poor death in hell. Also, an evil man can be evil all his life, change in an instant, and lift his eyes to heaven. You look upon this man this way. He cannot change your heart toward this man, but you can. My wife Anaya is his daughter, and this man allowed her mother to die without a word, but she has forgiven him. So, who is righteous among you, as the Torah said, who is without sin, cast the first stone. Queen tapped Wanyenyekevu on the shoulder and woke up. My husband speaks the truth, but tomorrow, we will perform the holy hymn. I would like to show you why Sabbath has allowed this to be done. I have lived in the West all these years, and since this man, pointing at Wanyenyekevu, has come into my life, Sabbath has made all this clear to me. I have seen Sabbath work like never before, and it because of what happened here is the reason the abenians are no longer in your area and only live in the North and South Pole. There are a few scattered, but most have gone off-world, but their plans remain the same to divide and conquer. They came to destroy about fight, and they are not finished, but you have to, no, you must be ready to fight this battle that is quickly upon us. Early the following day, a horn was blown, and everyone performed the holy hymn as Darkios and Wanyenyekevu's family, alongside Friedrich, helped the people. The spirit of Sabbath came upon the people and started showing amazing signs and wonders. Even King Joseph spoke in a language in honor of King Joseph stood up in tears and told Wanyenyekevu and Anaya, as king of this land, I will make you my successor, and therefore my daughter shall be queen of this land and do the things her mother wanted to do for this land and all the people. The people cheered and carried an emergency ceremony at the old palace. Using their new powers, they quickly made minor repairs at the castle. 3 days later, the ceremony began with the Bacchanalians, Anacatas, and a few computants that had start paying. Wanyenyekevu and Queen were seated behind King Joseph as he approached the podium. Fragile and in pain, King Joseph spoke. King Joseph, make myself known today to undo all I have done to all the people of this land. My dear Queen Anaya has accomplished all she set out to do in her deed, and he will finish it, for her, by giving my kingdom to a righteous man and my daughter, whose name is also Anaya. I allow my new sojourn and my new god, Sabbath, to rule this land with honor and respect. I have renounced all my decrees and given this land to him. My daughter and your husband, Wanyenyekevu, can do about will the way my wife wanted. Wanyenyekevu stood up and approached the podium. King Joseph presented him with a spear and a purple robe, anointed with holy oil, and received the Kyrgyz crown royal insignia. King Joseph continued, Anaya. Queen approached the podium and was presented with a crown, and King Joseph looked into her eyes, forgive me. Anaya said, I forgive you, father. Then he turned to the people, please forgive me for my evil and selfish was as your king, and now your new king and queen is here. Wanyenyekevu said, all of this is unexpected. I just came to visit my sick wife's uncle, Sheikh, and Sabbath has blessed me beyond what I could imagine. I guess this will be a dual monarchy. Even though I am not a king in the West, I rule the land along with 11 others. We will follow the same policies, exist in a customs union, and have a combined military, but my children will govern this land. They are righteous and have good hearts. Until this becomes as strong as it needs to be, everyone from 15 to 35 must join the military ranks for at least 2 years until they become a great and strong nation. I will send others here to train those who need it, and the abenians will never again invade this land. I promise, through Sabbath, I will get those of you who lost your sons and daughters to the trickery of other lands on this planet. In the West, we are no longer separated like before. We were once computants, Bacchanalians, and Anacatas, but they call us mestizos, and that is what we are from this day forward. Bigma stood up and stretched. Yeah, Wanyenyekevu and Queen encouraged the people and introduced them to their children, and they cheered. A celebration was held throughout the land like never before. Wanyenyekevu, Queen, Friedrich, Darkiel, and his wife returned home and left their children behind, except for Hala and Anaya. The children of Ibrahim took over El Paso and Phoenix and made military installations out of them. They found a cache of artillery, and their territory expanded throughout the south. As they were lecturing about their findings and improvements, Bigma sat back down. Not long after they returned, old Wanyenyekevu was heavy-hearted, and Friedrich noticed his pain. What is wrong? You've been down before and ever since we returned from Ireland. Wanyenyekevu said, it started when we visited your home in Africa and then when the people returned from Telu. But when I saw the look on King's face seeing her family in Ireland, it added to my pain. I'm homesick. I was told I would never see my family again, but that is all I want to do now. I have bad Sabbaths all of my life as far as I know, and I think I have fulfilled my duties. Before they pass, I want to see my mother, father, brothers, and sisters. It's been. I stood there thinking, it's been 30-something years, and I want to go home. Dark Eagle and Queen both have felt my pain, and we have spoken about it, but I'm feeling depressed about it. Friedrich knew nothing I could say to encourage him, just pray and ask Sabbath. Wanyenyekevu said, I will pray and fast until I see the face of Sabbath. As soon as he spoke, they received word that both Sheikh and King Joseph had died in their sleep the night before. As Queen prepared to return to Ireland, Wanyenyekevu said, I'm so sorry for your lost baby, but I will not return with you. Take Hala and Anaya because I must seek the face of Sabbath, for I, too, want to see my family. Wanyenyekevu fasted and promised they would continue until I saw the face of Sabbath. After a week, Queen returned from Ireland and became concerned and approached him. You have fasted too long, and I can see that you are too weak, and I fear for your life. Wanyenyekevu said, I have sacrificed my life for him, I love him, and I believe in only him as he believes in me. I want to speak to him face to face. I will obey his words, but I need to speak to him face to face. Days go by, and the entire territory prays to Sabbath for Wanyenyekevu's sake. Jael appeared before him, and quickly Wanyenyekevu said, I want to speak to my God. Zika, the Son of Man, appeared before him. A man who rules over 2 nations asks to see the Creator. Is this not enough to know you have been found with favor? Wanyenyekevu said, we all know that that which is earthly is only good on earth. I seek spiritual things, and my love for my family is what I long for. Zika smiled, to see my father is dead to human flesh. I am your attorney. Speak to me. Wanyenyekevu said, know this, I love you too. I honor you also, but my heart is in pain. I have given my life and my family for you, and now my son, Abooksigun, is gone to do as I have done because we honor you and your father. I want to see my earthly father because he will not be able to see me before I am gone. Zika gave Wanyenyekevu a simple smile, you have one of 2 choices. We will let Abooksigun see you before you are taken away or see your father before he is taken away. For you know, all is for a reason, a purpose. You choose. Wanyenyekevu said, for I know if Abooksigun's duties are anything like mine, he shall be busy. Therefore, I want to see my father before he passes. Zika shook his head, even in spirit form. You cannot see him because your spirit is still connected to your flesh until death, so to see him is death for you. Wanyenyekevu persistently, I just want to speak to him. Zika said, I can make it possible with the help of Friedrich, Daniel, Jael, Mlesi, and myself. Speak to them, and it is so. They must fast for 3 days and meet me on the 3rd day on top of Mount Lemmon. On the 3rd day, Wanyenyekevu, Friedrich, and Daniel make their way to Mount Lemmon, and Zika appears before them. A vast door appeared, and they entered. Jael and Mlesi met them. Zika said, form a circle and hold each other's hands. Wanyenyekevu, you stand in the center with me. Then Zika said, this is the only way to speak to Sabbath without causing your death. Friedrich glowed until the light was too bright, and the light blinded everyone, and they disappeared. Wanyenyekevu hears a powerful voice. I have spoken to you in dreams and visions. Why must you speak to me in person? Wanyenyekevu falls flat on the ground, saying, forgive me, Father, I love the love you have given me, and I asked of a simple thing, to see my father. I didn't want to disobey your words because you told me I would not see my family for 150 years. But the pain is so great now to see them, and I want to hear you say I can, for even in your word, you say it is better to obey than to sacrifice. The voice of Sabbath rumbled, you, your wife, and your family shall see peace for the rest of your days because of your loyalty. But my people will cry and lament over you when the time comes. Abooksigun shall replace you and do great things in my name and taking place who now offers is his classroom, but where I take him, it shall be powerful in my name. Abooksigun will have a double portion of your powers. Go now, take your family, and see your father. Because he will allow this generation to endure much pain, they will be a generation without a seer, one who sees the art of man and takes your son to another place to do these great works, and my people will not know who is righteous and who is not. So, they will know that I am their God, and they are my people. I have allowed you to see your father, but it was so before you came to see me. And for this reason, your grandson, Abooksigun's son, will have a triple position of my power, and the last generation honors shall come to pass. A new heaven and new earth shall appear. Wanyenyekevu opened his eyes, and their Friedrich and Daniela stood on Mount Lemon, and their hair was long and weak as snow. Bigma stood up to stretch game. You see how the 2 years of military duties started. We were under constant threat from the abenians and never knew when they would return, so a lot to serve. It wasn't until Wanyenyekevu got homesick that started the 2 years of service. Plus, I wanted to tell you about him being homesick. It started a whirlwind of trouble for Arizona. But it was for a good reason. When Wanyenyekevu died, there was no way men knew if People's arts were true, and evil crept in and divided the people. Cush laughed. No, I'm not laughing at that. Cush said, thanks, Bigma, but I'm not afraid to do my duty. I am a warrior first. I don't mind going to serve. I was thinking about who would care for you, but no, you went all over the world talking about someone being homesick. I did get into the story through. Bigma laughed. Well, you know now get out here and go find you a wife. Cush interrupted Bigma. Bigma, I've been thinking. Bigma said, oh boy, don't hurt yourself. Cush smiled. Oh, you got jokes, but seriously, I have an idea. I can stay here until I leave, and we can go fishing, hunting, and gardening, and you can tell me all the stories you want. How does that sound? Bigma said with a smile. I would love that. Cush was happy. Just need to take care of a few things, and I'll be over here tomorrow as soon as I finish. Bigma said, bet. Cush laughed, bet. You got everything on lockdown. Bigma said, if you don't know, now you know, you know. And they both laughed.